The second sound came, I am drained. I feel like there's something heavy on me right now.
Do you want to get the sage stick out?
Not yet.
A bump in the night. A sudden chill. An uneasy feeling that you're not alone. Don't worry. It's just a ghost.
Episode 50 of It's Just a Ghost podcast, and the very first episode for our brand new YouTube channel. I am your host, Mary Jensen. I took about 7 months off from the podcast because I moved from Massachusetts to Florida, and then I took a little bit of time to settle in and started looking for a new co-ghost that would be as dedicated to It's Just a Ghost as myself. And it was right across the street from me. Couldn't get any easier than that. So welcome, Denise Kennedy.
Hi, and thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. And not only did she find a co-ghost, she is also from Massachusetts, as I am myself. And so we have even more in common.
Yeah, that makes it even
Yeah,
better.
it does.
So we have two really good things in common, and we have a lot of fun together. And so Denise, what made you want to become part of the It's Just a Ghost Paranormal team?
Well, first off, it's going to be very exciting to, go out there and see some paranormal activity, which we did. And my grandfather passed when I was a teenager, and my mother received his hat. And when she got home, she put it on a hook in her bedroom, and a few hours later, she went back into the room, and the hat was turned upside down. It happened a couple of times, and she figured it was just my grandfather letting her know that she was okay. And a few years ago, my dad passed, and I had a very vivid dream about him coming to me and talking to me. And so, yeah, I just thought that, he was telling me he's okay, and it was so vivid that I really thought when I woke up that my father came to me. So I believe that he did.
Yeah, I think you did too. I think you came to a dream.
Yep, absolutely.
Like different spirits have different ways of coming to you and letting you know that they're there, but it happens quite often, actually. So this is our first episode together, and Denise's very first paranormal investigation. And we recently investigated the Springhill Cemetery in Brooksville, Florida. And I got to tell you, I really think Denise is a natural. She just did so great, and with the equipment and everything. And we picked up quite a few orbs. Some of them are from still photos, and some of them are from video. And we also got a few EVPs that we can't wait to share with you. So you'll see all of this throughout the episode. And right now, though, we're going to talk a little bit about the history of Springhill Cemetery, and also highlight.
Springhill Cemetery is one of the oldest cemeteries in Hernando County, founded in the 1850s by Adabel Likes, previously known as the Brooksville Civil War Cemetery. It was used to bury Confederate Civil War veterans and African Americans. It is now known as the Historic African American site.
Right. Yeah, and the only way to get into this cemetery is down quite a long dirt road, and then they have a big wrought iron fence, and that's open during the day.
Correct.
For people to go and visit, and it closes at dusk. But so that is off Fort Dade Avenue, and it actually goes through the property, and across the street from the cemetery is land known as Lake Stairs, and which was used for white burials during that time period. And the reason why we can't find a lot of information on either of the cemeteries is because in 1872 the courthouse that contained all the records burned down, so they have very few records.
And that's sad. And the only way we probably could get any records is maybe the town hall or the library. And I would like to do some more investigating on that part of it.
Absolutely.
And something else, but we'll talk about that later in the podcast, towards the end.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. So, yeah, and currently the land. Oh, sorry, sorry. Since 1993, the cemetery has been managed by Miss Elise Walker, in association with the African American Springhill Cemetery Association Company, and both her mother and father, mother and grandmother, are buried in this. And she confirmed that the cemetery was originally founded by Ada Bell Likes, who purchased land from her brothers as a final resting place for African Americans at that time. And, when Hernando County had a sordid history of racial tension.
Right. And currently, the land surrounding the cemetery is owned by BMM Land Trust Company. They are leasing the land to CMAC, who are mining the area adjacent to the cemetery. The county requires them to keep 250 feet away from the cemetery just to preserve it.
Yeah.
For years, the cemetery has been lay in disarray, the graves missing their headstones, the grounds grazed by cattle, and overtaken by kudzu, which is an invasive Florida vine.
Oh yeah.
I know, really? That stuff grows everywhere around
Oh
here.
yeah, it's like wisteria.
Yeah.
I know, right? And it's such a shame too that in the past, the cemetery was not respected at all, and it is said that trucks would dump trash there, and crypts have been broken into, and also in 2009, it was reported that someone took the headstone or the head off the remains of one of the crypts.
That is disgusting.
What would even bring them?
They had to have been like teenagers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the tops of some of the vaults were replaced several times, because they were stolen or removed, and family members of the deceased would go there yearly to do the cleanup.
Right, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So in 1993, Elise Walker got involved after Lucille Ballard passed in 1991.
Right, and that's when the security cameras and lights were installed in the cemetery, and the Freedom Bikers of Hernando cleaned up a lot of the mess. They worked hard from like 7 o'clock on one Saturday morning until it was finished. It was a well organized cleanup. They had trucks coming in, and backhoes were brought in, and all the drivers took up money among themselves to purchase the gas, which was awesome of them to do. I mean, these guys didn't have to do this. They did.
Right.
And they cleaned up that cemetery, and I just want to thank you guys for doing that. It was real. Therefore, I, Elise Walker, could not betray my heritage to CMAC or anyone else that would want to do anything but improve on it. This is the only thing blacks have, and Bethlehem Baptist Church on Brooksville Avenue that was on Lemon Avenue. The oldest black church. Thank you for caring.
That is so awesome. I mean, the cleanup too. Like you said, everybody volunteering, the guys volunteering to do that, and it's so awesome too. That quote from Elise, I love it. And there were people working. It's just great that there are people working to get Springhill Cemetery back in shape.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, visiting, we noticed there is still some work to be done. But we saw fresh soil and mulch have been put down, and more bags were there waiting to be laid. And also, a lot of the graves have fresh flowers and artificial flowers
on them.
That look real.
Right, and they look really nice there. The artificial flowers kind of make it pop with color out there. And they're not all wilted, and so they do look really nice out there. It was a great gesture. Today, the cemetery has a reputation for its paranormal activities. Stories of seeing a man hanging from a tree at dusk, and on more than one occasion, a baby has been reported as crying during a certain hour of the night. We went during the day, so we did not see any of the hangings and hear any of the babies crying, but we did pick up a few orbs and some EVPs.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm glad we didn't get to see any of that. not quite ready for that stuff. But yeah, we did, and we got the orbs and stuff, and I love that you captured an orb while seeing it happen right in front of you.
I know. In my cell phone, because that's what I was recording with, I just saw this light flash by in front of one of the gravestones. And I was like, oh my God, did I just see what I think I saw? And I couldn't wait to stop the video and go running to you saying, you know, did I see what I think I saw? And let's check the video to see if it's on.
Video too, in that same exact location.
Right.
And they happened throughout the investigation. They weren't like all right in a row. And you came and you showed me what you got on your phone.
Right.
And so I picked up the camcorder and we headed back over to that spot and we left the camera there on the tripod for a little while.
Yep, we did. And we got some more orbs out of that one too. Same exact spot.
Yeah, we went walking around for a little while and then we went back and got the camcorder, and then later on, when I was home, I was going through the video and stuff like that, and I saw one happen probably about 20 minutes after we walked away from the camera, and then just a little while after that, another one.
I know. And then you sent me a lot of stills of the orbs that were floating around in the cemetery that we couldn't see with, you know, our naked eye. And you also sent me a couple of videos that you had shot with some of the cameras out there that were just like on stills, right? Were they on tripods or?
I think the same camcorder that we got the orbs at, where you had gotten the one with your phone.
Okay.
Because we ended up moving around
we
in
did.
the cemetery. So yeah, a couple of them were picked up with that same camcorder, and then some of them just by taking still photos. And those are really big orbs.
Yes, they're huge.
They're long.
They really are big.
Yeah, one of them's rainbow.
Right.
As you'll see them.
But when I saw those orbs, I was like, I cannot believe this stuff is hanging around us while we're walking around the park, you know, the cemetery.
I know.
So we picked up some EVPs that day too. And you had one of the audio recorders on the back of the car, and you walked around with a recorder trying to get some EVPs.
Right.
And the EVP that's, not the EVP, the recorder that we left on the back of the car, we did not go near the car after we put that on there. Right. We stayed away from it knowing that, you know, any little sound it might pick up. So we did stay away from that until we were ready to listen.
Right.
You know, at home.
Yeah.
So we're going to start to play the EVPs.
Yeah, sure. And so we couldn't make out a definite voice with any of these, but they definitely are strange. So
yeah.
Here is the first EVP clip that we got from the recorder that was on the car. So here it is.
That is really weird. Sounds like nighttime, but it wasn't nighttime.
No.
It was daytime.
Yeah. So that was weird because we didn't hear any of that with the naked ear, and like Denise said earlier, it was very serene in there, and the only sounds we could hear with our ears is birds chirping and a little wind in the trees. So.
And nothing like that did I hear. Nothing.
Right.
Because I would have been running out the gate down the street.
Yeah. And
really, I probably would have.
And as you can tell, you don't even hear the birds chirping.
Right. Yeah.
So and that happens all the time.
Absolutely.
Like with the DVPs and stuff. Animals and birds and stuff. They
you can
sense
hear them.
that there's something there.
same thing again. And, you know, we might repeat ourselves a couple times about these EVPs, but I never heard that. I'm sorry. I just never heard it while we
Right.
were walking around out there.
Right.
Craziness.
And it's weird how it almost sounds like some kind of animal, but if it was,
We would have heard it.
we would have heard it. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't miss something like
No.
that because this is a very small cemetery, and no matter where we were in there, we could see the car and we could see each other.
Right. And we could
That's
talk to each other with a little bit of a louder voice, but
Right.
we could speak to one another when we were in that cemetery and within a range. And yeah, that I never heard. I'm sorry.
I never heard it either. And again, you don't hear the birds or anything.
No, just that noise.
Yeah. And I don't know, but here's the third one from the car. I don't know. To me, that sounds like it could be like a spirit trying to say something or whistle or
I don't know.
I
Do you
don't
want to
know.
play again?
Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one.
Because this
happens
one goes
so
real
fast.
quick.
Okay, here we go. And let's do it again.
Okay. I don't know. It does sound like similar to a growl, maybe, but nothing again was growling in that cemetery. Nothing.
Right.
There was no dogs around. We even walked back into the woods looking for something else that we're going to discuss. But we even went back in that woods, and there were no animals back there when we were walking back there.
No.
So yeah, that was kind of crazy.
I actually just slowed this down a little bit. Let's just play it
Sure,
and see if it.
I'd like to hear it.
So that's it slowed down just a tad, and I mean, it doesn't sound. A lot of times when you slow down an EVP, you can make out like a word or what you think might be a word. This, it's just a longer version of the same, like, oh, well, you heard it. Who knows? It's just
Right.
so, you never know. You never know. And now we have one more from the car, and here is that clip right now.
Like that last end, you could hear like it sounds like a bird, but something else. It's not a bird. I don't know. That whole thing is just scary to me.
Yeah, and to me, like at the beginning, it sounds like you could hear maybe our regular birds.
Right.
For some reason, they didn't stop chirping right away. Excuse me. And something else blended in with it.
Right,
like you said.
absolutely.
And then it just, you can hear where it cuts off to where, okay, the birds are like, oh, and,
Stop.
And then you hear whatever the heck that is, and then same thing at the end.
The birds start up again.
Yep.
But yet you hear that scratchy.
Yeah, that one's creepy.
Yeah, yeah, they all are creepy to me.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Especially that one,
Right.
For some reason.
Absolutely.
And it's louder.
Yep.
And now here is one from the recorder that I was walking around with in my hand. So
Oh, okay.
let's see what we have with this one. Now, I gotta suggest to everyone that if you can, try to listen to these, especially this one with some earbuds in, because that's what I was doing earlier. And there's a spot in here where I think he's saying something, and without my earbuds, again, I can't even remember what it was. Hold on, let's listen really careful.
Right there?
Yeah, right here, and
It does sound like somebody's trying to talk.
with the earbuds
Right,
in, I thought
right.
I knew what he was saying.
I didn't really notice that or pick that up until you replayed it.
I know what I listen real close and listen for right here. Okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna just start it from a little bit before he says that or whatever. mean, it could be.
Yeah.
But, you know.
You never know. Unless you hear it clear as a bell,
Yeah, we can't say.
you know, we can't say for sure what these sounds are, but I can guarantee you, we did not hear these sounds when we were in the cemetery.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, so, to me, that's what it sounds like, but. But here is another one from the recorder that I was carrying.
That's insane.
I think I know what. Again, I listened to these with my
Right.
earbuds. And did you hear something?
Well, I'm not as experienced as you are with the EVPs and you know, knowing what they're saying or trying to pick out words.
Right.
You're much more experienced at that stuff than I am. So I kind of like listen. But no, I did not hear anything. But let me see what you're saying. Play it again.
Right, from right here, listen, I'm going to play this again. To me, when it gets louder, to me it sounds like someone, like a man, saying, help me. I was like, help. Okay, here we go.
I don't know if that's because you said that to me.
And he says it again here.
Right. But I don't know if you, because you said that,
Right,
help me, that now I'm automatically thinking it's saying help me.
right.
But it does sound that way.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, the more that you do this and the more that you listen to this, your ears just become like
Into
in tune to hear, like picking things out, you know? And of course, that's just what I think.
Right.
Someone else might hear something
Right,
else, and someone
absolutely.
else might think,
Yep.
oh, nothing.
But I didn't hear that until you actually mentioned it. So
Right? I'm going to slow down that one section. I think I tried this earlier on my own, though, and it didn't sound any different, but let's give it a shot. See, now, when I slowed it down, it didn't even sound like that. Like anything.
right. Yeah, twice. Twice it sounds like somebody's
Help
saying
me.
help me twice.
Right?
But then again, like I said, I didn't really hear it until you pointed it out.
Right.
Those words to me. So am I hearing that because you pointed it out?
Yeah, who knows?
Or am I hearing it now because you pointed it out? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that could be the same thing too with our, you know, our viewers and listeners.
Right, absolutely.
So you know what we should do next time? We get EVPs at a location. We should play some of them and not really give our opinion on them.
Right.
And just say, okay, you know what?
Write in, tell
Yeah,
us
please
what you
let us
think.
know.
Absolutely, you can do that right now too.
Yeah.
Just type in what you think they are, or if you think they're anything, or if you think that we're just dreaming. Just let us know, because
Yeah.
it's good to get feedback from you guys on what we're doing and how it's going, and you know, because it's not criticism to us, it's actually feedback that, you know, will help us,
Oh, absolutely.
you know,
and
in the
make,
long run. Right.
and make the videos more enjoyable.
Right,
for you.
absolutely.
You know, because if we're doing something that's annoying or whatever.
We don't want to
We
do
don't-
that.
we'd
We
rather-
don't want to annoy you.
Right. Yeah, so next time, let's definitely do that. And
All right, sounds
we'll
good.
say, like, this is EVP number 1, and you could email us, you know, and we'll give you that info out.
Right.
Because we'd love to hear what you think, you know, the EVP
Not
is
what we
saying
think.
or whatever. Yeah, I mean, that'd be interesting,
Yeah,
especially
I
since
think
you
that's a
said
good
until
idea.
I mentioned it, it
Right.
didn't sound like. So I think we have 2 more. So here's another one from the walking around one.
I remember.
Yeah.
This one sounds like Morse code, okay? When I
Right?
first heard this, it sounded like, you know, those old Morse code things that go tick, 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 tick.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
That's
wild.
yeah, absolutely. It sounds like that to me. So
Mhm.
I don't know if somebody was in a grave, kind of like checking us out, trying to tell us something, Morse
Who
code,
knows?
but I have no clue. But that's what it sounds like to me,
Yeah,
Morse code.
same here. And I don't know much about it.
I mean, neither. So I'm not going to try to.
If anyone wants to analyze
Right,
that,
go
like
right
we said.
ahead.
Okay, here's one more, and then we'll give you the email. Hi, Henry. Are you here today? I think Henry answered me. I do.
I do too. I
I
think
don't know
Henry
what
was
he's-
around and he was thinking about whether he wanted to talk to you or not. But I
Yeah.
think he grunted at you
Yeah,
just to let you
something.
know you were there. He was there.
Yeah, there was something.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
maybe Henry was a dog. We don't know.
Right.
And if you're not Henry, I really apologize for calling you a dog. But let's listen to that little, just that part again.
Right,
where
the grunting.
I think Henry or somebody, something.
Oh,
Like
it might be a
that
pig
part
snoring.
afterwards, after you hear the grunt, it sounds like something whispering.
I'm sorry, I was talking. Can we play that again?
Yeah, and then I'm going to slow it down and try playing it again too. Right there.
Yeah, it does sound like somebody's trying to say something
Let's just slow
after
down
the
that
grunt.
little section. You know, here we go. I slowed it down. Let's see if it sounds.
Yeah.
It does sound to me like something grunted or whatever, and then it sounds like a whisper.
At the very end, like towards the end. Yeah, that's
Who knows?
nobody. But what we do know is, again, none of those sounds were going on when we were in the cemetery.
Right.
Like I said, this is my first investigation, so I'm not sure. But if I thought I heard something like that, I probably had my sneakers on and just run into that gate saying, "Are you married?"
Right.
No, I'm only kidding.
No, yeah.
But I would have been scared. I would have been a little, afraid. And the whole time I was in that cemetery, I was not afraid.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, just because we get EVPs too, and they sound creepy, I mean, just think about it. Something from another world basically is trying to communicate. They're not
Right.
going to sound like us.
No,
No matter
absolutely
what,
not.
no matter how slow you make it, they're going to sound scary. So it doesn't mean they're bad spirits, They're just trying to communicate, and that's how it comes out, like creepy sounding, And of course, but we didn't have any of that.
No. Nope, just your heavy back weighing thing where I wanted to get that gosh darn stage stick.
That was so weird, that feeling.
I know.
mean, yeah, it went away though.
Right.
After I started
After you left
walking
that
around
section.
a little bit, it started to go away,
Right.
and then I didn't feel like that. So yeah, we played all of the EVPs and the orbs and stuff throughout the episode.
Right.
And like we said, anything at all having to do with the EVPs or anything about the show, or even like, make a weird face.
Critiques or,
anything.
you guys are doing good, whatever.
Yeah, positive stuff too.
Right, we like positive. Just email us at
It's just a ghost podcast at yahoo.com. And then just, if you would, put in the subject line,
Springhill Cemetery.
yes, that would be great.
So that we know which investigation you're talking about.
Right.
So, Mary, let's talk about the slaughterhouse.
Oh boy. Okay, that's obviously a very creepy thing,
Right.
but that sounds
right.
good. So would you like to start us off?
I would. Supposedly, on the ground somewhere there, which we spoke about a little while ago, that we went through the woods trying to look for something. It was the slaughterhouse. And it's well known, I guess, rumored, that there's a slaughterhouse out there that the Ku Klux Klan used to, where they took their victims and murdered them. We don't know how true that is. There are a lot of rumors, and they say that the locals are the only ones that know where that slaughterhouse is
Right.
and the paths to it. But
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because we did see a few paths like around the cemetery.
right,
But they were just so overgrown and everything that
that's with the ones we started to
yeah,
walk through.
we walked through just a little bit, but with snakes and everything else out there
Right,
in Florida,
and
we're like, no, thank you.
just not the snakes, the prickers,
Everything.
the things that gouge up your legs
Mhm.
and make you bleed. They're all through there. So yeah, the next time we go, I would really like to investigate whether there is a slaughterhouse out there, but wearing the right clothing to
Right.
get through those overgrown paths, because there are those prickly things that
Yeah.
scrape your legs.
Yeah.
So maybe wearing a pair of jeans and some hiking boots and things like that, just in case we run into a snake or something.
Absolutely.
We'll be prepared for it.
Right.
But definitely, I want to investigate that.
I would love to find
Me too.
that,
Me too.
if there is such a thing.
Right.
And like, rumors or legends, I should
Legends,
say.
actually, not
excuse
rumors.
me.
It's a legend.
Legend, yeah, a legend has to start from somewhere, I would think. Whether it was, because it said that it's a shed called the slaughterhouse,
Right.
is what we found out. But legends have to start somewhere, and some of them have an element of truth. They must have, like,
They start out as an element of truth.
right, yeah,
And then as the years grow,
yeah, as the years go by.
the rumors grow.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, so it could have started out as like, okay, this was like an outhouse for someone
right,
at someone's
right,
home,
right.
or the workers at the cemetery, whatever. I
Whatever
don't
it
know.
was.
But
This is a long, ongoing legend about this slaughterhouse.
right.
So everybody around, I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube about the Springhill Cemetery,
Yeah.
and almost everybody talks about the slaughterhouse,
Yeah,
but nobody's found it.
that's right. So
Nobody's found it.
maybe
So
we
maybe
should-
we'll be the first.
maybe we'll talk to a few locals.
Right.
Because actually, and this is a ways away, but I do want to let you know about this. It's very
Very exciting.
We got permission to investigate. It's called the May Stringer House. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but if you like creepy things, which you must, if you've lasted this long
I
watching
know.
us, look it up. It's got a very interesting history, and it's supposedly it is known actually, as one of the most haunted houses in Florida.
Right.
And every paranormal investigator in the United States
wants to get in there.
wants to get in there.
And we're getting in.
We are.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I
Very
spoke
excited.
with the curator or manager, I'm not sure, because it's also a museum, and I spoke with her on the phone last week, and we set it all up. So, but
Stay
we
tuned.
don't get to do it until it's either going to be, the investigation will be either November 27th or January 15th. We're not sure yet, but they're not booked up with investigation. That's
Right.
how popular it is. So when we go out that way to do that, because that's also in Brooksville,
Right.
Florida, so
Brooksville's a hot spot for
it is.
paranormal activity.
Well, not that there's a lot of
Right, a
stuff.
lot of places in Brooksville.
But well, actually, we can talk to some of the other. There's going to be two of their employees that are going to be there with us, just to show us what rooms and stuff are most haunted. So we'll
Right,
talk with
but
them
they
about
stay
it.
back.
Mhm.
They
Yep.
stay down, apparently, from what I understand, down by the doors.
Yeah.
So they're not interfering with
Right.
anything that we're doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So if we
I
need them,
am.
they're there.
Yeah,
So
I'm
we're
really
stoked.
excited about that. Really
Can't wait.
excited.
Yeah.
So that's one of our future investigations.
Yeah, and in the meantime, we're going to do a few more cemeteries because those are really the easiest to get to, and we're also trying to get into a lot of other locations. But,
Right. We put out our letters, and hopefully we'll get some returns that, yeah, you can come in, just like the May Springer House, so that's cool.
So anybody that's watching this or listening to the podcast, if you know of any haunted places anywhere near Clearwater, Tampa area,
That you'd like to see.
yeah, please, send us an email. We would love to hear from you, and let us know what you'd like to see on here. Or even if your house is haunted, we do homes
We'll come
too.
in
We'll come in
and check it
out.
out.
Yeah. So Denise, overall, what did you think about your first paranormal investigation in Brooksville?
I loved it. I really did. It
That's
was
awesome.
so awesome that I I can't explain it actually, as far as the feeling. Like I said, when we were in that cemetery, it was calm. And then when you come back and you watch all the stuff you have, it's insane.
Right? That's
It's
why
insane.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes you're walking around somewhere and you're like, there's not gonna
Right,
be
and
anything. It's just too, and
up until the point of that orb coming right in front of my face, and I saw it, I was like, oh, we're never going to get anything out of this cemetery. It's not haunted, because it was so calm in there. So,
right. But I gotta tell you, I mean, it's not like I'm a big professional paranormal investigator. I've only been doing it for a year. So, I mean, I've done a few. And just from my short experience and from other investigators that I do know that have been doing it for 30, 35 years, we agree that it's really the ones that don't feel that haunted is where you get a
a lot of the stuff. Yeah.
So you just never know.
Nope. And it was a great experience, and I am looking forward to many more
Oh, yeah.
investigations out there with you.
Me too. I'm so happy
Me
that we
too.
met. And I want to thank everyone who joined us on the episode today. And we would love your feedback again, like we said, on anything really. You can email us at itjusttheyghostpodcast@yahoo.com. And we have a website too if you want to go and look at any of the pictures again, or find out like our our links to where we got our information for the history part. That is itjusttheyghostpodcast.com. And yeah, so we're gonna try to do an episode every 2 weeks.
Correct.
So the next one should be up on July 21st. I'm sorry, it's actually July 7th, because I had a long story, but I was supposed to have another episode in between, which didn't work out, and that's fine. So July 7th, tune in again and another investigation episode. And also,
And I think you're wrong, Mary, because
Yeah?
I think this one's going up July 7th.
what was that?
This one. I thought you said our next one will be the 21st,
I'm
right?
an idiot. I was right the first time.
Right, exactly.
July 21st is the next one.
Right. Sorry about
I'm
that.
thinking the next one being this one.
Right.
Anyway, bear with us. Again, our first video. So stay in the loop by subscribing to this YouTube channel if you like what you saw today. And we're going, like I said, try to do every 2 weeks. And so stay tuned. Join us again July 24th for another exciting investigation episode.
Right. Thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Follow in the night. A sudden chill. An uneasy feeling.